10 minutes with no one by myself. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to look? What do I? So that part was the most uncomfortable thing. But the ceremony, once everything got started. Oh, and it was the first time I used the lapel mic.
Okay.
And so it went well. Once they started, it went really good. And I told their love story. So I created the love story. The crowd was laughing. I used all the information they gave me. They were shaking their heads. They're like, mm-hmm. Then they started trying to read my papers. They're like, what else is she going to talk about? Wait a minute, And so afterwards, people just kept coming. And when they jumped the broom, I had told before it started, I made a little announcement saying, okay, we're going to have some guest participation. And I didn't tell them what it was. I just said guest participation. Then we got to jump in the room. I said, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I want everyone to say jump. And so we did that. And then afterwards, this guy came and during the love story, I told some stuff about movies and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so afterwards, this guy comes up to me. He's like, I was all ready with my movie trivia. You said there was going to be guest participation. I was ready for the movie questions. I said, no, just the jump. But people came up and they're like, that was so good. And you delivered it so well. But the best part was the couple came up and they said, that was the best. And they said, you used everything that we mentioned, that we all talked about, and you hit every point and stuff like that. So it was I left there, I thought it was my wedding. I left so happy. And then I left with more ideas. I was like, oh, this just pumped me up. And I was like, okay, I can have Officiants all around the world. And I just was so excited.
How did you get the wedding, Stephanie, if you don't mind me asking?
On Google.
Okay.
On Google.
And where are you located at?
In Fresno, California.
Oh, you're in Cali. Okay.
Yeah. And ironically, the couple doesn't even live here. They in my town. So the bride's family is from Northern California, and the groom's family is from Southern California, and I'm in Central California. And so I didn't know that part when I first until the rehearsal, but when she first called me, she said I wanted an officiant that would understand jumping the broom, mm-hmm. because there's very few other Black officiants here in my area. And then there's very few, or that are advertising at least, or that are showing their picture. I don't know which, but it's a highly populated Hispanic area. Mm. So that was the reason she chose me. But also they were having their wedding in Central California so that the families could drive halfway. Each of them would drive halfway. So yeah.
That's nice. And what's the name of your business? I hope I'm not asking too many questions.
No, it's Two Become One Weddings.
Two Become One. That's nice.
But online I go by my social media is at the Fresno Officiant.
At Fresno Officiant?
Officiant, yeah.
That's your Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I just did a TV show thing. That one I did before, I did it again yesterday.
Oh, you did? Oh, yay!
What was that?
So they only have one. They try to only use one of that category. So I'm their only officiant until I decide I don't want to go anymore. And then I'm their only notary until I decide I don't want. I did a notary one too. Their only notary until I don't want to go anymore. Yeah.
What is that? A TV show?
Yeah, it's it's a YouTube channel, but they also have something, it's .tv. So I don't know I don't even know where that shows, but it's on YouTube. And so it's a local, kind of a local station, or whatever, I don't know, local thing. And they do business, they just interview companies and stuff like that every day. Okay. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love that. That's good. I'm happy you continue going.
Yeah, I'm trying to boost my visibility so people can see me. I haven't really done too much other kind of marketing or anything. I'm on Wedding Wire and stuff like that, but that's all I've really done. I don't even do my social media that much. Mm-hmm. So at least I'm on there and hopefully I'll get some exposure that way. But yeah, but there's my wins. And it was my 1 year anniversary of being an officiant in March. Yeah. So. Those been
Congratulations. Those
All
are
right.
some big wins. Those are good ones.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yes. That's
Good
good.
for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Right, Nick, start talking.
I would love for everyone to drop like their Instagram in the chat so that we can follow each other.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Google Meet, so where is the chat?
So there should be some icons at the bottom right corner, and you should see like a little circle with an eye. Then you see 2 people. Then you see kind of like a little square message box. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I think this is only my second time using it.
Here we go. Awesome.
Let me get everybody. Wait a minute.
Lady with the stamp. Love it. So for everyone on here right now, is everyone ordained? Have they done at least a wedding before?
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, come on.
Good evening. Okay, so I am the Frady cat of the bunch. I am ordained. I am just so nervous about doing a wedding. I'm like, okay, I want to maybe specialize in like elopement, something easy to start out with. So my goal for May is to really get out and promote and just do it. So I'm doing it scared.
Okay.
I need y'all support, y'all prayers, y'all encouragement. So that's my story.
I'm gonna cross my fingers for you. I feel like you're gonna do it in May.
That's it. That's amazing. I love it. So you have like your business name, you have like an email, a logo, like marketing materials to start putting yourself out there.
Well, I don't. I have everything I have is set up under my notary stuff. So Building Diamonds Mobile Notary Services. So I'm trying to get something simple. I was gonna do maybe elopements by diamond or something simple. I have some ideas for my marketing, but I don't have a logo or anything like that. I was wondering if I need to make that a separate entity or add it as an addition to my notary services. So that's kind of where I was going to ask. That was one of the questions I was going to ask and get your advice and see how everybody else is doing that.
I would say start off with at least doing 1 or 2, see how you like it, and then branch off. Because I feel like if you branch off right away and then you really don't like it, then it's kind of like, you branched off kind of for no reason. So I would say, see if you like it. See, what works for you, what doesn't work, and then take it from there. Yeah.
I would definitely agree. When I started, can you turn it down, please? When I started with it underneath my Officiant business. I went out on Thumbtack and I did use like lead generation to book like my first couple of weddings. One, because when you go the organic route or like the free route or like the Google My Business, social media route, it can take a little bit of time for you to kind of like the algorithm to pick up on the weddings part versus the notary part, for you to kind of find couples and stuff. So I would suggest starting off with like something small like Thumbtack, where they charge you maybe like $15 to $25 a lead. I think my first wedding, I think they charged me maybe $20 for the lead, and then I charged the couple $350. So like when you think about it like that, it's not as much, as you thinking I'm giving you $20 and I don't know if I'm gonna get the wedding or not. But I would definitely suggest definitely do the free Google My Business profile, right? Because that's going to get you out on Google. That's going to get, your business kind of just out there in the world. But if you're looking to actually book weddings, I would start with something that, again, is like lead generating, like a Thumbtack, where it's just small leads. I heard David's Bridal has something called Pearl now. So that's like a really good demographic, because, the couples who are looking on David's Bridal are like couples who, are clearly getting married or at least wedding planning. So get on some of those like directories that are low cost, that are, you know, kind of popular. But yeah, I would definitely get maybe like 1 to 2 weddings under your belt first, see if you actually like it before you branch off. But eventually I would always suggest to separate your officiant and your notary business. Mainly because your marketing tactics are going to be different. There are people who have success with it, and you can have success with it as well. But I think you definitely have more concentrated success when you separate the two businesses. So I hope that helps.
Yes, that does. So when you guys have your separate businesses, are you getting another LLC established with that business and getting everything in place? Is that how you're doing it?
So you can do that, or you can do a DBA, which is just doing business as. So you can have like your notary business and then apply for a DBA with your new, you know, officiant business name.
Okay.
I think like if it starts to really sustain and you're starting to get a lot of weddings and it's starting to kind of build on its own and be kind of equal to your notary business, you know, you might want to consider getting a separate LLC for it. Maybe, you know, as you kind of grow within the industry, you'll find different ways that you can make money or just like add to your services if you want to sell something. Some people sell like the brooms that people jump the brooms with. Some people sell vow journals and things like that. So if you want to add to it, then I think it would be a good idea to separate it, but not off the bat. Definitely get a couple of weddings, make some money from it first, and then, you know, separate everything. But I do let everyone know, or it's like on my profiles, that my officiant business is like a subsidiary of like my notary business. So if you see notary somewhere, you know, my notary business name somewhere, they are, you know, the same person, same owner, that type of thing. But yes, guys. I know that we just kind of been, you know, aimlessly chatting. Obviously, if you have a specific question and you want to ask somebody specifically, please feel free to do so. It's people from different states here. I guess everybody should drop what state they're from as well, because if you don't know, you don't know. So I'm from New Jersey. So we got California in here. Let's see where else. New Jersey. Oh, Illinois.
Illinois.
And Connecticut. Oh, that's good. Georgia. Awesome. Okay. So definitely got a couple Jersey people in here. We a little biased, ain't gonna hold you. I would much rather California weather than what we've been dealing with, but what can you do? That's a part of living in Jersey, right? You get all 4 seasons in 1 week. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I guess I'll go a little bit what I've been working on. So I've been working on just building out my officiant business to get more like organic leads. So people who are finding me on Google, people who are finding me on social media, or just like places where I don't really have to pay for leads. I love Wedding Wire. I love the Knot. 1, because I'm a part of their fellowship program, but 2, because they helped me get the bulk of my business when I first started. But let me put this disclaimer out there. It is a pricey, they pricey.
Yes.
The contract, you have to get into a contract with them. They want you for all 12 months. My contract was $250 a month. So I think in total that's like $3,000, I think, for the whole year. So I mean, yeah, you can write it off because you paying, you know, into your business and everything like that. But you absolutely want to consider that if you think about like working with them. They do have free listings, but they will absolutely tell you that they don't push it as much as they push, obviously, the paid listing. So you can still get on there, you know, kind of try your luck, but you are definitely going against people who they're putting up higher, you know, on the totem pole. So you want to just do some research in your area. Kind of like Stephanie, when people find me, they're just like, we're just happy that we found a Black woman. Which I feel like, because we look to other Black women officiants when we're kind of building out our officiant business, and make me feel like that's all I really see. So when people say that to me, I'm always very surprised. But I had a wedding on Thursday, and a couple reminded me that, like, this wedding officiating space used to be primarily for men, men in clergy. So pastors, deacons, stuff like that is really starting to break out, where people are looking for, a more non-traditional route. Like, they don't want to go to their church. Maybe they're intermingling or marital like religion. So one person might be Muslim, the other person might be Christian. So they don't want to do a mosque. They don't want to do a church. They don't want to do a pastor. They don't want to do a I think it's the imam. I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but they want to go completely like non-traditional and just find like an officiant who is non-denominational. Yeah, thank you. Who is non-denominational, and just, looking for someone to provide them a very fun ceremony. They're always looking for someone that's professional, who is a good speaker. So really putting yourself out there on social media will kind of help couples find you. One, because of the algorithm, right? Because you're putting information out there, but two, because you're showcasing your personality, which is something that couples, look for the most. And they want to hear what you sound like when you speak, because obviously you're going to be talking the whole time. So they want to make sure, they like the way your voice sounds to their ears. Like, people actually say that. So it's really good to kind of get yourself out there a little bit ahead of time, because once a couple finally does get into a consultation with you, it's just like sealing the deal. It's like they already done researched you. They already kind of like what they see. Now, when you actually talk to them and you give them that concentrated energy and effort and give them like that whole customer experience, they're like, okay, I really, really, really want to go with you now. So that's like my biggest thing, my biggest piece of advice. But that's basically what I've been working on, getting myself out there more, tightening up my process. I'm working on a ceremony planning guide. So just something I'm creating to help couples really go through, like, planning out a very unique ceremony. And what else? Yeah, just tighten up my process, making sure I have like templates, so I ain't got to think about stuff I got to send. I can just, copy and paste and send it out, and, keep on pushing, and really have the bandwidth to take on more couples than I currently work with. So yeah, that's where I've been at. Anybody else want to share what they're working on, what they are, or maybe what their goals are for the rest of the quarter in terms of their officiant business, whether it's just get started, connecting with other wedding pros, maybe doing a bridal show, something like that?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, with a Wedding Wire, I've gotten a lot of my business through them, and mine isn't as expensive. So like, when you call them, just because they always set up a conference with you or whatever, and my area did not have a lot of people using their platform, and they didn't have a lot of pros. So they gave me, so I only pay $100 a month for a pro category.
That's good.
So if you're not, like, you're probably in a big city. I'm in the middle, like I said, in nowhere, California, right? So don't let that deter you. Talk to them about it. And I think it was actually going to be a little more. And I was like, could you go to like 100? And she said, yeah. So talk to them and just see what you can. I mean, hey, she can only say no. I mean, if you already want it, you're gonna buy it anyway. But if they'll take it down, just ask. But like I said, my area. But now I do have friends that are in LA, and when they signed up, theirs was like $350, something like that, $400. Wow. And they only ended up doing it for a couple months. They said, we're not even getting any business except for scams. So we want off of here. So they let them out of their deal. But yeah, so it just depends on your city. So if you're not, or like, even if you live in Atlanta, I know someone said Georgia. If you live in Atlanta, don't tell them you live in Atlanta. Tell them you live in Decatur or Smyrna. Don't tell them you live in the big city, and then you might get the lower rate.
That's a really good one. I didn't even know that they they offer different prices. I should have did that. I should have negotiated when I started.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, now you can, and you can tell them, look, I work with you. Give me a lower
Right.
rate.
Yeah, when my program's over, I'm be like, can't, you 150, let's try that.
Right. Tell us
So
about,
what do you,
is there something that we could see from your what you're doing with them, or?
Yeah, so basically the way that the program is set up is every month we have an education. So the first one was setting up our storefront. They have like their inside workers or people who work within their company, like do a video recording. So the first one was really just going over all of the features that's in your storefront, all of the benefits of making sure your storefront is completely filled out, as well as we got to do like a one-on-one meeting with the woman who's like in charge of like the creation team on the storefront. So just asking her questions, how can we, kind of like stand out? The biggest things that I took away from at least that first session was one, definitely make sure 100% of your profile is filled out. You definitely want to have your best like 5 to 10 photos on there. You want your photos to be of, pretty good quality if you can. They have a real weddings like section. So that is really for if you've done a real wedding with another wedding pro that is using that platform. If they share like photos or anything, they can essentially tag you in it. So I thought that was very cool because it gives it a very like Instagram/Pinterest, kind of vibe. And we also know that like when couples are looking for their wedding pros, when they're building out their dream teams, they want to see other couples. Like they want to be able to see themselves with the couples that you've already worked with. So it's super important to get those photos, even if you're taking them yourself and they're just on your cell phone, put them out there because that's what the couples are looking for. I think they say like couples are 80% more receptive to photos than text. So while the words you're using and stuff like that is very good, getting those photos and those videos out is even better. And then you can also add preferred vendors to your storefront as well. So, for me and Norman, he's one of my preferred vendors. I'm one of his preferred vendors because whenever I can't perform a wedding or somebody comes to me and I'm booked, Norman is my first follow-up. So he's my first professional recommendation. So people will go, if I'm like, this is who I work with, after me, if I'm not available, they'll go to his profile and they'll look up his information as well. And to see that we're both preferred on each other's, it solidifies that type of professional relationship. So that's a way for you to grow professionally with other people, even if you meet them at like a bridal show or, a vendor event, something like that, and you've kind of grown a relationship with them. If they're on that platform, y'all can add each other. So that was another thing that I loved. And then they're also like rolling out, and they're having like beta testing right now, but they're basically rolling out, you can see if they went to your storefront, you can see if they saved your storefront, you can see if they clicked on any of your links and stuff like that. So that's really good because if you have a couple that is engaging a lot on like your platform or whatever, and they reach out to you, you get their contact information via their email. So that would give you a little bit more incentive to reach out to them, to make sure you follow up with them because they clearly were very interested in what you were showcasing on your profile. So I like that too. The second one was about couples insights. So essentially, like, what are couples looking for right now? What are they prioritizing right now? As we know, I talk about this all the time, officiants are very low on the totem pole of priority when it comes to weddings. I do not know why. I think there just needs to be more education out there about what you do as an actual wedding officiant, why you're so vital to their wedding day. I look at it like this. A wedding is a ceremony plus a reception, but the ceremony is included there, but everybody focuses on the reception so much. So I really like that. They also talked about mental health being like the number one thing that like Gen Z and millennials are considering when they are going through the wedding planning process. So any way that you as a wedding professional can assist them with their mental health, whether it's sharing, positive, optimistic content, whether it is giving them ideas to kind of ease like the stress, giving them tips or things like that. All of that is going to make you stand apart from other vendors, because now you're catering to their individual needs outside of, I can provide this service for you, right? Same thing with your couples that are actually booked and working with you. It's super important to prioritize like mental health throughout that wedding planning process, because it's so stressful between financial pressure, societal pressure, family pressure. You definitely want to remind them why they're doing all of this and dealing with all of the stress in the first place. And if you're the only vendor that is focusing on that, and everybody else is like, well, we got to do this, this, and that, and I need this, this, and that check, you're going to stand out as giving them a spectacular customer experience and journey, and they're going to repay you in their review. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. And then they say that October is going to be like the biggest month for weddings. So usually I think it's September, the month of September, but this year it's the month of October. I think October 22nd specifically being like the most popular day for couples to get married. So that's another thing to consider. And then this last training was on branding. So really being mindful about the colors that you're picking, because there's a psychology behind it. Being mindful about the fonts that you're picking, making sure that they're consistent. So essentially having a brand kit, having the colors that you're using, an accent color, your primary, secondary colors, as well as the fonts that you're using, just making sure they're consistent in all of your, just across your organization or company altogether. It needs to be in your logo, in your email signature, in any of your branding, any documents that you give your couples, just making sure that those things are consistent and that your brand is showing up the same way in every platform that you are like using to gain more customers. So that's pretty much it. And then we also get like one-on-one time with our mentor. So in that space, we talk about, specific things that we're working on within our business. What are some ideas that we have that we want to, kind of get out there? So for me right now, I'm trying to come up with a signature event, something that, would be an opportunity for me to meet with couples even before I actually book them. For me, I'm more based in like wellness. So I want to create some type of bonding activity or something they can do on like a date night type of thing. And really just target engaged couples and, find an activity that I feel like that what has to do with the wedding planning process, but then also again just enforces or promotes like that bonding, kind of like, let's get back to like us for the night and leave all the stress, on the wayside. So that's another thing that I'm working on with my mentor. But I really like the program. I encourage everyone to apply for the program. I think the applications open up again towards the end of the year. I think it's like October, November. So pay attention to like that time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Wedding Wire and the Knot has a Fellowship for Change program where they specifically look for business owners, wedding professionals that are within their first 5 years of business who are historically underrepresented. So whether that's through class, through race, or, things of that nature. But it is a free program to apply for. You get set up with a one-on-one mentor. You get advertising on their platform 1 year for free. You also get education classes. And then you kind of just work in a cohort. So you're with a whole bunch of other wedding pros in different areas of the wedding industry. And you have like Q&A sessions once a month. You meet with your mentor once a month. And then you have access to all of the mentors, all of the teachers and past, fellowship people. That's not the right word, but y'all know what I mean. So it's a really great opportunity. Like I said, I applied on a whim and I got in. I was very happy, but definitely apply. Like I said, it is free, FREE, and you get so much with it. that it definitely will put you in position if this is an industry that you like. I love it. So if this is one that you like, you can learn to love it with the right, assistance. How do you find a mentor in your area? I mean, you can kind of look. Yes, that's correct. Fellowship for Change through Wedding Wire and the Knot. But yeah, finding a mentor in your area, you can look, you can Google, see, what's out there, see if there is anybody who is kind of doing what you want to do, maybe at a level that you want to get to, and see if they offer mentorship. Sometimes they may not offer it because their immediate business is like keeping them super booked and busy, but some of them do. You may have to purchase some hours here and there. You can also work with me. I might not be from your area, but I can help you at least figure out what you want to do and how to move forward. But finding a mentor, you just want to find someone who is a little bit higher than you, or at least at a level where you want to go. And then you want to reach out to them, see if they actually have any type of mentorship, or see how you can, mutually, there can be like a mutual benefit. Sometimes they're like, you just got to pay me and I'll help you. And that might be the case, but it's out there. Do you have to have a contract with them? No, you do not. Honestly, I thought you did too, but surprisingly, you don't. I thought you did too, but there's people that's like never had a storefront, never advertised with them or anything, and they were able to get into the program. So it's really cool. But yeah, Wedding Wire and the Knot are one company. I think them as a company is called Wedding Pro. But from the consumer side, from the bride and groom side, they can go to the Wedding Wire website, or they can go to the Knot website. If you choose to advertise there, you can advertise with both, or you can advertise for like one over the other. The couples that you get on the Knot will be different than the couples you get on Wedding Wire. You may have more success on Wedding Wire than you do on the Knot. That's kind of my experience. I get way more leads on Wedding Wire than I do on the Knot. There's definitely a lot of spam out there, so beware of the spam. Anybody want to share a spam story, or how you can know if something is spam? Anybody want to throw out some red flags?
I got a spam story. feel like
Go ahead.
I low-key feel like you were like hinting at me, like share that spam story. So in February, I got a call, actually an email, regarding a wedding in a short period of time. So it was in February, and I think the wedding was in like 2 months. And they basically sent the email like, "Oh, we found you through this website." But the website was either, I think, the Wedding Wire or the Knot, but they never contacted me through the app. They contacted me through email and was like, "Oh, we're getting married at this time. Like, we'll pay you the full amount." Mind you, have no consultation. They never saw what I look like. They don't know, anything about me, just my email address. And then they were like, "Oh, well, we will, we'll book with you in a week or two when we finalize. Like, what address can we mail the check off to?"
Yes.
And yeah, I pretty much said to that one eventually that we could meet up to like get the check, because if you're in New Jersey, like, why do you have to mail the check? Like, I could just go to wherever you are to get the check. And then they stopped responding.
So yeah, definitely a check. If someone is trying to pay you with a check, it is of your own, personal business, whether you accept personal checks or not. I do not. I do all electronic forms of payment. I do not accept don't nobody check, because when that thing bounce, it come out of your account. That's all I think about. So, and sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I'll pay you with this check, and I need you to pay the other vendors out." So that's another like really big red flag that is probably a scam, because again, once that check bounce, then it's like your responsibility. Like, you have to pay the bank back that money, and we not messing up our account for nobody. So a quick turnaround. They're not really wanting to meet with you, not even like a phone call and asking to pay with a check or asking you to pay other vendors out. Those are 4 like red flags right off the bat. And they usually come in that same paragraph. Like they put all the red flags in the same paragraph. And they be like, I bet they ain't gonna catch on to this. Yes, we will, because ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody has time for that. Guys, Stephanie, you want to share?
I've seen some too that like they either don't give you like the location, but they're like, we're near you. And then they'll say the family is coming. I had one where they're like, the family's coming from Europe, so I'm coordinating it, but please contact this person. Here's their email address. I'm like, that's too many things. Or they're like, we're renting an Airbnb. I've seen so many, and it's crazy. You know, we're renting an Airbnb and we're going to have it here. But I saw on one of the Facebook groups, they said, well, someone was asking about scam. And they said, well, you could call the venue that they said that they rented and ask them, has this been reserved for, if it's a local venue? They said, the person had said it was a known venue. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, you can call the venue and ask them. But yeah, you can always tell just in the wording too, and the language, it's never right. Yep. And it's like, come on. And who's paying with check anyway. Yeah. You met me online. You're going to pay me through online service. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's crazy. I'm like, why are you guys targeting poor little officiants?
I know.
We get $400. Why are you targeting us?
I'm so glad you all told me about that, because I mean, I've had my identity stolen personally.
Oh, wow.
A lot of times. Like I just got another one. They're like opening up bank accounts left and right in my name. I had to like shut everything down. So I'm so glad you all told me about this. So now it's something else I gotta look out for. That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow.
One of my friends on Wedding Wire got one, but Wedding Wire caught it first.
Mm-hmm.
They emailed her and said, "Oh, we just took this off because it was."
That's so sad.
They're definitely getting better. They're getting better at catching them. One thing you can do on your end is like you can flag it. So if it looks a little off, they have like a little flag icon. You can flag it, and that will kind of trigger like them on the back end to kind of look it up. Because I remember I got like the same exact message on the Knot and on the Wedding Wire side. And a lot of times like the name don't match the email. The email just looks so like, it looks suspect. You're just like, either you're a bot or like, you're like overseas somewhere like trying to scam me. I don't like either of them. I don't like them. So there'll definitely be a lot of inconsistencies there. And of course, always follow your gut. If it's starting to feel a little wrong, a little suspect, you know, it probably is. So be mindful of that, but they will definitely, they will try it. They will go after you. They will say the same thing over and over again. They will try very hard to get your address. There's no reason you should be giving out your address. I mean, if it's your business address, that's different. And they do need that for, you know, the marriage license, their marriage license appointment, and things of that nature. But if they ain't booked, they haven't paid you no money, there's no reason why you're giving out that information. Don't do it. Get your money first, always. So definitely glad that they're at least starting to pick up on it. Cause I just be like, I'm glad that doesn't really happen on Thumbtack. Cause now I'd be pissed. Cause now I'm like, you know, shelling out this cash for like this one lead for no reason. So speaking
of,
but on Thumbtack, they don't return your calls sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Too. Mm-hmm. I think
they're bots now with Thumbtack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Thumbtack just trying to make more money.
Yeah.
That could be it too.
I had to get off Thumbtack for a month. I was just like, I can't keep paying you guys to talk to nobody. I respond right away. Mm-hmm. Nobody responds back. I shouldn't have to. I know when it's when it's an opportunity, if they don't respond, you don't have to pay. But if they don't respond, and even if I was the only pro or whatever, I shouldn't still have to pay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had to take a break off of Thumbtack too. Like for me, they were sending me like people that were Spanish speaking when I don't provide like a Spanish speaking service. And I'm like, maybe it's my curly hair, but I do not speak not a lick of Spanish. And if I do know anything, it's probably curse words. So not appropriate. And also like, because the one thing I definitely do encourage people to do is like work with other officiants in your area, especially if you're kind of like, again, building a relationship like this, where maybe you guys are both like kind of just starting out, just trying to get your weddings up and stuff like that. I've had couples come to me and they wanted a ceremony spoken in Spanish, and I don't, but I know an officiant who does. And so I outsource out that wedding to that officiant, and then we kind of work together in order to like get, their needs fulfilled. So I would highly encourage, working with a male officiant. If you're female, if you're male, finding a female officiant, and also finding officiants that speak different languages, primarily Spanish, if that is the area you live in. My area is very multicultural, but we have a huge Hispanic population. So it would be, kind of foolish. I mean, like, I would be letting money walk out the door if I wasn't working with a Spanish officiant or trying to get proficient in Duolingo, and I ain't doing that. I ain't got the time.
I tried it for a minute, and then I slacked
I
off.
want to so bad, but I just
tried it. I was doing it for 5 minutes every day, and then I
You
slacked
good?
off a little bit. Yeah.
That's good though.
Mm.
5 minutes is not bad. I think like I need to sit down and do like a 30 minutes, like have like a real 30-minute session of that. That'll help me.
It's a good free app, though. I love it. I love it.
No, it absolutely is.
I got so many other things I do. My habits in the morning, I had to take that one off to replace it.
No, I do. I love me some Duolingo.
But I wanted to just say what you mentioned earlier, Tiara. I'm trying to do more videos on my social media instead of doing the Canva post, like you said, to show my face, to show my personality, to show. So that's what I started this week doing, posting, more videos. So of course, being that I work from home, I got to get up and get myself together. It makes me get myself together earlier and pushes me to, do a video. But yeah, I'm working on that. Yeah.
That's good. Listen, I'm right there with you. I am not. People think I'm a video person. I am not. Okay. I wish I was more. I know my life will look so different, but I'm working through it, y'all. Work with me. Bear with me. We all gonna get through it together. But I'm telling you, that is like one of the like major ways for you to kind of get yourself out there and get clients really like wanting to know about you, even if they're not married yet, even if they're already married, like they will refer you out if they really like you.
Right.
I like booked a couple the other day, and when I looked at the referral source, it was like word of mouth, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So when I did my consultation call with them, I forgot in a moment, but I definitely called her right back, and I was like, listen, I'm sorry to bother you again, but your things that word of mouth, like who referred me to you? And she goes, it's my friend who actually didn't get married in New Jersey. She ended up getting married outside of the state, something like that. And so she never worked with you, but she sent me over like 3 recommendations, and you were one of them. And so never spoke to the actual person who recommended me, but somehow I made it across, to somebody else who would need my services. So I say that to say you do not know, where your videos can take you. But the one thing you do know is like it's a way of putting yourself out there. So I would highly encourage, I'm talking to myself, but y'all too, but I would highly encourage, putting your personality out there, putting more, talking videos out there. They do not have to be long, but again, people just want to feel some type of, connection to you before they meet with you. Right. And that's one way of doing it. Yeah. Okay, let's see. How do you maintain client info? Do you create a client file? If so, what does it all include? So other people can share as well, but I'll start off. I use Google Workspace for everything. I do not use HoneyBook. I do not use Dubsado or other like client management services. I kept mine like kind of all together. So for the first thing is I send out like a couples questionnaire that goes along with my consultation. So when someone signs up or schedules a consultation through Calendly, automatically, because it has workflows embedded in it, I send them a couples questionnaire that I made on Google Forms. when you make something on Google Forms, you can have the responses be automatically downloaded into a Google Sheet. And so whenever I go on my Google Sheets, it will be every person who's ever filled out the form for the questionnaire. And therefore I have all of their information. So I have like their, their full name, their phone number, their email, when their wedding is, the location, date, and time, where they found me, what they're kind of looking for. A question that I've added recently is, what are the qualities of a great officiant? Because I'm just curious to see, what do you want in officiant? What do you think about when you hear the word officiant? And just some of those general information. And then I have my own consultation, kind of like worksheet. And so in my consultation worksheet, I ask some more questions, like when I'm actually in the consultation, more specifically about the marriage license process. I always want to make sure that my couples are informed about how to obtain their marriage license, because in New Jersey, California is different. Y'all have a very unique opportunity over there. They can be marriage license producers. So a couple can go to an officiant in California if they have like those type of credentials. They can actually produce a marriage license for them. But in New Jersey and a lot of other states, the couple has to go through the county clerk's office. So that's kind of like, I make sure that they know what that process is, because I would need a valid marriage license in order to marry them, right? So if that's a component of me doing my job, I need to make sure that you know how to do your part of me doing my job correctly. So that's like one of the things that I like harp on. And a lot of times like couples are confused about it. So if you start off giving them answers to questions that they didn't even know they really needed to ask, you come off looking very professional. They're more likely to want to move forward with you. So always position yourself to provide value first. And then you kind of get into those kind of mundane questions that everybody that they're going to meet with asks, right? So yeah, then we're going over kind of like wedding day details. Do they have a bridal party? What are their colors? Are they gonna have a videographer or photographer there? Do they want to unplug ceremony? Is someone giving them away? I have like a whole sheet, a whole template that I sell that I actually use for all of my couples, and it gives me all of the information I need to kind of build what I call the skeleton of their ceremony script. But for the most part, Google Forms is how I collect the information. Google Sheets is how I organize the information. And Google Docs is what I use for all of my consultation templates as well as my contract templates. And when I send out contracts, I use Adobe Sign. So again, I don't use like one system. My main system is Google Workshop or Workspace, and then I use Adobe. But if I know Norman, he uses HoneyBook. Stephanie, you use HoneyBook? Yeah. So if y'all want to share your HoneyBook experience, please do.
You want to go first, Stephanie, or me?
Sure. I like it because, like you said, it keeps everything in one place, just like how you're using Workspace. But also, I can automate it, because that was my goal over this year, was to kind of automate everything. So I'm able to automate. Like as soon as they sign the contract, I send off that lovely card that gave them all the information about, your name, what you do, where to go, all this stuff. So it automatically, as soon as they sign the contract and pay the first invoice, it automatically sends them that. And then at another certain point, it automatically sends them something else that I want them to have, and all kinds of stuff. So I like the fact that I was able to automate that. Mm-hmm. And then it helps with the invoicing too. It automatically invoices them, because I do a deposit, and then they pay like about, I think it's a couple weeks before the actual event, and it automatically sends the invoices. So I like that. And then the first 8 months I had it, it was only $1, and now it just went up, because now it's been a year. It's went up to $40, which is still not that bad, So, but yeah, so I like HoneyBook.
For me, I'm still at $1, because I just got it recently myself. I think it's gonna go up for me in the next month. But I use HoneyBook for making the contract, sending the contract. I also use it more so for scheduling. I'm going to revisit, now that May is coming, whether I'm going to use it after May. And I want to revisit like other apps too, just to see like which one works. I still think there's a lot that I could learn in order to like fully optimize on HoneyBook, but so far it's good for me for scheduling, sending invoices. One thing I will say is if you decide to use HoneyBook, make sure you charge like keep in mind of what you charge like your client because HoneyBook does take like their piece of the cut out of it. So they may take like, you know, $3 to $6 out of your pot that you get.
Okay. That's good because I didn't know that. So Stephanie, I have a question. So you're saying that essentially you kind of like set up like an automatic timeline, or do you have to like assign dates every time you like take a client in?
You can do both. You can set it up so it's automatic for every client you get.
Okay.
So like sometimes I have people that book say within 2 weeks, and then sometimes I have people that book out 2-3 months.
Right.
But it'll set it up so that it's it knows how to like do the ratio, you know, or something like that. So you can do it. You can do either way. But I yeah. So you can, and like I said, so you can set it up for every contract. You can change it. You can however you want to do it. Yeah.
Oh, love that. Okay, that's me. How do you know how much to charge? Prices. So that's always a good question. I feel like that's like a really big question. And that's also one of the things that typically stop people from moving forward. So the first thing I would definitely say is you need to do market research, right? You need to look at what other people are charging for your same services in your similar area. And the way that I did that is I looked on Wedding Wire. I don't think I looked on the Knot. I looked on Wedding Wire. I looked on Google, and then I looked on Thumbtack. And from those 3 websites, I looked for my area and like the surrounding, you know, cities. I looked to see how much they were charging for a package and what services were included in that package. So for me being in central New Jersey, our median range for officiant services is about $350. When you get to northern New Jersey, which is closer to New York, their median for officiants is $500. When you go to southern New Jersey, which is closer to Pennsylvania, Philly area, they, I believe, are $300 is their median. So when I entered the market with $350 being my most popular package or my medium package. Then I had a higher package of $500 for couples who are looking to have a rehearsal. And then I had a lower package of $250 for couples who are looking to only have their marriage license signed. So I offer 3 packages, and that's how I priced it. I essentially did the median price for people who look like me that were in my area that was offering the same services that I offer. You would see that most officiants either offer 3 packages or they offer 1 all-inclusive package. I would suggest starting with the 3 packages. 1, because of psychology, we already know people like to have options, but not too many options. People like to do a comparative type of model. So they want to see, you know, if this is the lowest price one, this is the highest price one, this is the medium price one. Well, this has most of what I need. I'm going to go with the medium price one. So you give them a little bit of comparison. And then also you don't want to price yourself too high in the market or too low in the market when you're coming in. You come in too low, they don't think you know what you're doing. You come in too high, they be like, okay, girl, you better bring out the fireworks because that's what I'm looking for. So you definitely want to start in the middle when you're just getting started because you just want to kind of just get used to it. It's definitely, you know, a little bit different than notary, similar, but it's definitely different. So you just want to see if you kind of like it and what your experience is, and then you want to move around. So now I've moved my prices up. My medium package is $500, my higher package is $750, and then my base package is $350. So you can definitely play with it. The wedding industry is, I would say it's like an industry of like capitalism, if I'm being transparent. Like, you know, everybody is definitely charging what they feel like their worth is, and couples are paying based on how you show them your worth. So you have officiants who are charging between $995 to $12 to $1,400 for the same service that, you know, you're providing essentially, but they you know, they got their reps in, they do it a certain type of way, and they're able to communicate their value a certain type of way, and people are, you know, willing to pay that because of the way that they communicated it. So it's a lot of range here. And then you have some officiants who maybe like stay on the lower end. They don't want it to be their full time. They just want it to supplement their notary business, or it's something fun that they like to do, and it's more on a hobby side, but you can still make a really good revenue stream from it. So anybody else want to share their prices? You are more than welcome, or how you got to your prices.
So my price, my first wedding that I did, I only charged 100. I think it was like 150 or something like that. My very first one. But I've told the story before, but it got messed up and I had to pay for I messed up on the marriage license. So I had to pay for a new license. And that was $80. So basically I didn't get any money in that one. So, but anyway, so after that, so now my low, and then I've had a couple increases, but my low package is 300. I have 3 packages, 300, 350, and 400. And just $50 difference. But after I've had now 2 weddings where they want me to go to, or 3 where they want me to attend the rehearsal. So I did include the rehearsal in those packages, but the rehearsals are like 2 hours. They've been like 2 hours. Plus these have all I've had to drive to. So I think I'm getting ready to increase for the rehearsal. I'm not going to say it's because of the rehearsal, but I'm going to add that to my package. I already said I'll go to your rehearsal, but I think I'm gonna have to charge a little bit more. But, and then my highest package, I create like the love story for them. The first package is just like, hello, you want to get married, okay. The second one, they do their vows and stuff like that. The third package, I do their love story. Or the second one, I think they get a ritual. And then the third one, I do the love story and a ritual and attend the rehearsal. So it's a bigger package. So I think and after the last few that I've done, I think I'm going to have to increase that because it has required more of my time there with them. Not even at home, but there with them. It requires more time. So that's my price.
Yes. Just to piggyback real quick, I will absolutely second, third, and fourth charging more for the rehearsal. It is absolutely a whole separate, it's completely separate from what you do as an officiant. Yes, that's like a capacity, that you are present for, but it's like you have to drive there. So that's time to drive there. Most rehearsals go between 30 minutes to an hour, mainly because you're waiting for other people to get there. You want to make sure that, you can get into the actual rehearsal space. And then the time that you're taking, just organizing people, going through the practice run-throughs and things of that nature, chatter, you will definitely be there at least an hour, and then it's wherever your destination is back home. So it is a lot of time. It's essentially like an additional 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours that you're spending with that couple, that if it's not already included in your price, it absolutely needs to be. So for me, the difference, basically me going to your rehearsal is going to cost you $250. That's kind of where my prices boil down to. Stephanie, come on.
I mentioned I went to a conference, a wedding conference last year, and they all said that they don't like to go to the rehearsal. They're like, why do I need to be there? I'm just going to stand there. And they said, I charge $200 because that really detours most people from having me come because they don't want to go.
One thing I would say you could do, Stephanie, is like, I've offered, like, if they needed me to, I would ask, but I would also let them know, like, depending on what time the wedding rehearsal is compared to the wedding, it's also offer, like, pay for lodging. so that you're not
Well,
going
I don't
back
plan
and
to
forth.
travel that far. I don't plan to travel
Okay.
that far at all.
Okay. That works.
I don't know, but but I get it. Yeah, but that makes sense. Yeah,
No,
that's a good
definitely. At
idea.
the time, I would say the things that I'm now being more mindful of when it comes to rehearsals, because now people are actually starting to book that package, is if their wedding is on a Saturday, then the rehearsal will most likely be on a Friday, which is another prime, wedding day.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to make it worth your while. I will be restructuring my prices again, probably towards the end of this year. I do not know if I'm going to. I may have put some restrictions around the rehearsal, like maybe it can't be done on a Friday, or if it is, it needs to be done, before this and this time, because you don't want to cut yourself out of making $500 or $750 for a $250 rehearsal.
Right.
So definitely be mindful of that. I see why Officiants is like, I don't have to be here, like, whatever, but I don't know. I like it. I think they're fun. You kind of get to hang out with the wedding party beforehand. A lot of the times that's the first time that their couples like meeting you in person, aside from like their actual wedding day. So I feel like that kind of just gives them like that reinforced, good energy. Again, makes you come off more of a professional, and it just allows you to connect with the wedding party, and it's not like everybody's first time seeing you is like basically showtime. So I like rehearsals.
I like going. I enjoy going because I really did get to know them. And so when I went home and I was working on their script, it allowed me to put like, because they were very funny, very like, they had a really good time. So it allowed me, I knew I could add some like comedy into their thing. Like one of the phrases, she had wrote it in her questionnaire, that something about being thirsty, right? Because she met him and she didn't want to seem thirsty. But after I met them, I knew that was part of their vocabulary.
Right.
Like everyone knew that that's how they talked. So when I put it in there, I mean, the crowd went crazy. Everybody was laughing because she said that, So I did like going, but it did, like you said, it did take 2 hours of my time. I wouldn't have been able to plan a wedding on that at that same time. So you have to, or even a notary signing, right? So I wouldn't have been able to do a signing. So it should at least accommodate how much I would have got paid for a signing.
Right. No, I completely agree. So yeah, that's one of the things, you just want to be mindful of with offering a rehearsal. That is another way for you to kind of, beef up your packages if you want to charge a little bit more, or just create a third package with that as an option. But yeah, Norm, I don't know if did you share about your pricing or how you kind of came to your pricing?
I didn't. So I'm gonna go up in maybe June. But 300 is the lowest package. I have
You break
400
it up
and
a
then
little bit.
500. Uh-oh. Okay. What about now?
That's
Is
better.
this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So my lowest package is 300. And then my highest is 5, but depending on how far it is, that doesn't include mileage after like a certain distance. In 2023, I started to expand. So like other than Jersey, like I'm willing to go to New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island. So like with those, mileage will be included. And then that's why I mentioned to you, Steph, about like the lodging too, because if I'm like in Rhode Island, not going back tomorrow, and to come back. Destination weddings too, because I actually have my first one in July. So like with that will come like, paying for flight and then paying for lodging and stuff as well. So in June I'm gonna go up maybe like 100 each. So I'm just like looking at different things and before I make my final decision, but I'm definitely gonna go up before the year's over.
Yeah, I think I find too, as I feel, I don't know what they feel, but as I feel like I'm getting better and stronger at either writing the script or
Yes.
presenting the script, I feel like I should be able to go up, because I mean I've gained this more
Yes.
experience, more knowledge coming to these kind of groups and learning from Tiara and everything. I feel like, okay, now my knowledge is more and my experience is more. So now, just like in anything, I feel like, okay, now they need to start paying for the experience, for my experience, right?
Mhm.
And what they're going to get from it. But that's also, like I mentioned, I want to be well known. I'm hoping that's why I want to keep doing shows, YouTube, whatever, on people's channels, so that I become more known, because now they're paying you for that. Almost, I hate to say it like that, but almost like the celebrity of it all, right? They're paying because I'm more known. I'm not a new, I won't be the new officiant, and you're paying for my experience and my knowledge and everything. So
I mean, if I'm being 100% transparent, that's what they're paying for anyway. I say this all the time. It really does not take anything for someone to be ordained online. Literally less than 3 minutes. You just put in your email and poof, you can be out here marrying folks. Not every state is like that, so you definitely want to check what your state laws are, but majority of the states do recognize online ordination. And then typically, usually to get married, specifically in like New Jersey, it costs $28 to get your marriage license. So that $80 is crazy, Stephanie. Like that's a lot of money. But it costs $28 for someone to get their marriage license here. And as long as someone is ordained and you have 2 witnesses, then technically you can get married for this, like, $28. So when it comes to, again, communicating your value and being of value, people are more willing to pay. They're paying you for your expertise. They're paying you for the convenience. They're paying you for writing their love story. They're paying you to like be the MC, because that's really what you are as an officiant. You're like the MC for the ceremony. So you literally lead the ceremony. You do the flow of the ceremony. You organize the ceremony. So I think of, what a lot of officiants always talk about, like being paid the lowest, on the totem pole in terms of like vendors, is that our value is not communicated as much, and it's not like public knowledge. Like I was literally in a consultation and my groom was like, I don't want to be rude, but like, what do you do as the officiant? And I was just like, that's really not a bad question. It's really not. And after that, again, like I was just able to communicate all the things that we do as an officiant. And then after, he was like, oh, y'all do a lot. And it's like, yeah, we kind of do. So, very much underrated, but like one of the most important vendors of the day, outside of, hey, yes, I can legally get you married, or without an officiant, you're just having a big party. Because while both of those things are true, their Uncle Johnny can be their officiant, but you want someone to pay you. And, contrary to popular belief, even though people are going more friends and family-ish, they still allocate about 1 to 2% of their like wedding budget for an officiant, and 80% of couples hire a professional officiant. So not only are they putting, away space within their budget for an officiant, they're also preferring to hire a professional officiant for the things that I mentioned. Again, someone just being that professional resource, them being, in charge of that critical part of their day. Yes, the legal paperwork, but just really giving their friends and family like a break and giving them the ability to be present and be like actual guests and not working, during the ceremony. So it's a lot of opportunity out here. I say that all the time when it comes to officiating. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love that way more than loan signings and estate plan signings and apostilles. I love it way more. I get my money up front. I get to go to the reception. It's a beautiful, loving, happy, fun environment. You get to dress up and be cute. You know what I mean? Come on. I ain't got nobody down my back. Luckily, I haven't had no bridezillas. So I've just been very lucky with the couples that I have been working with. And I'm really starting to get what they call is like your ideal couple. So like those couples that you really, really want to work with. They really want to work with you. And for me, that's like people in my age group, people who look like me. They understand the culture. They understand my language. I don't have to change up how I talk for them, or I can show up in my hoodie in our meetings. Like, it ain't no beef. We're all good over here. So when you start kind of getting your ideal couple, you know that you're moving in the right direction, for your wedding business. Because again, you're finding people who you relate with, who feel comfortable with you, and who feels willing to pay you, what you communicated your worth. So that's like the biggest thing. Sharon, I know you got to hop off soon. Did you have any questions you wanted to ask, or you want to leave us with something? Maybe something you plan in your next step, something?
No question. You guys have given me a lot to think about and some good knowledge and tips and tricks and stuff. No, just like what I was telling you before, I'm just focusing more on I've done 4 weddings so far, just in case you haven't. I don't use HoneyBook or Google Workstation. I honestly use Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
For now. Once I start maybe getting more, maybe I'll, invest in one of those other, or not, get up my ante in my organization eventually. But right now I'm using Excel and my file folders and my electronic folder, are all 3 places. But no, yeah, I'm just working on marketing more, getting my word out more, I have business cards, and what I did both. I have one side is my notary information, the other side is my nuptial. So I'm just trying to hand out more business cards. I had magnets on my car with my phone number, but I had to take that down because I think that's one of the reasons why I've been getting more attacked with the fraudulent, bank accounts and stuff. So for now I took that down. But just thinking about, putting together some marketing materials, just other ways I can market, and meeting up with more vendors. I need to get out there a little bit more. So I'm excited, but just need to get more focused. And when you talked about the pricing, my pricing is very low. My pricing starts at $125, but that's on a Monday or Thursday at a local park. And then it goes to 300, 400, and then my highest is 600. And then it depends on, like Norman said, the mileage afterwards, it may be added on or not. My motto is weddings should be affordable because love is free. So I wanted to start with the low package, but that's my only Monday through Thursday package, that lowest one at a local park that's literally like 5-10 minutes from me.
Okay. No, that's good. I love that too. Yes, I love that.
Yes,
That's
so
very good.
that's about it. It's a pleasure meeting you all. So I have to go, but I'm starving, and my husband is making me some dinner. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off. But I look forward to meeting and communicating and collaborating you all again. Hopefully you have my information. Email me, ping me, whatever message. And thanks for giving me a moment, Tiara, and everybody. Y'all have a good night, okay?
Of course. Yes,
And
absolutely. Thank you for joining us and
of
sharing.
course, I look forward to joining you more in the future. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You too. Bye.
Okay. I know we talked about a lot tonight. I'm happy that everyone showed up, that, we got to have a little bit of conversation. For anyone who is on mute, if you guys have questions, if you want to share, I would encourage you to come off of mute. You ain't got to turn your camera on. I ain't that much. I don't care about all that. But if you do want to talk, you have absolutely you're welcome to share this space with us. In about 10 minutes, I was going to go over our quick, how to officiate a wedding crash course. That's for anyone who wants to stay on for the last 30 minutes. It's going to be that quick little presentation, has like a special offer at the end. And then of course, if you have any like specific questions on anything that I talked about, then, you know, we can do that. It's basically going to teach you how to get ordained. What are the three main reasons why people don't move forward after getting ordained? I can't even tell you. I'm sure Stephanie knows like how many times we go into these, you know, meetings or these like group community meetings, and I'm like, okay, who's ordained and how many weddings you done? And so many people be ordained and like have not done any weddings, and they can't even tell you why. So it's really just to debunk the myths and build confidence and let people know like this is not scary. You can absolutely do it. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can start small, doing just marriage license signings or elopements with 10 people or less. You can move up into micro weddings, which is typically 50 people or less, until you get ready for like full size weddings. I'm preparing for my biggest wedding is July 1st, and it is 250 people. Yes. So I think she said between 250 and 280, actually. That's what she said, between 250 and 280. And she's like, we're really struggling to cut it down. I'm like, girl, at 250, you might as well invite the whole hood. But, you know, listen, people do what they want to do. I'm very excited. They're a very fun couple, very like hands off. And another way that I kind of at least set myself apart with my business and what I've seen out there is like most officiants are like, you know, you have complete, what's the word I'm looking for? Complete control over the entire script. You know, I say everything, like you'll know everything I'll say beforehand, yada, yada, yada. My scripts are not like that. The wedding story actually gets revealed to the couple along with all of their guests at the same time. So while I work with them on, you know, if they're going to have this type of unity ceremony and these other little nuances, their actual like unique journey to matrimony is a surprise for them at the end. And that has been really like my selling points in my consultations. And it helps me weed out kind of those type A brides, those couples that are like super control freaks and have to know every single thing that's going to happen before it happened. I find that, you know, from listening to my colleagues' experiences and stuff like that, those kind of brides, those kind of couples, like they want everything to go perfect, and perfection is just not realistic. It's too many variables when it comes to like your wedding day, and there's no reason for you to stress out or try to have me stressed out with everything being perfect. So we're already releasing some of that control when you decide to work with me, because you will not know your wedding story until we all kikiing at the altar. Like that's just it. That's just what it is when you work with me. So that has been working out for me in my favor. And I'm just like trying to find a way to like communicate that so I can kind of start putting it really out there and let that be one of my marketing pillars. Because of all of my reviews, for people to know that like nobody knows their story beforehand. I feel like that just adds a little bit more weight to my reviews. So that's something that is, you know, kind of unique to me that I want to start being able to like leverage and market. So there's so many different ways that you can kind of like build up your officiant business. When you start figuring out what is your uniqueness, then you want to start putting that out there, and that will also help you start to get some of the couples that are, you know, very excited to work with you, again, willing to pay your communicative value. And then you really start to get like a flow of like constant, you know, couples kind of coming in. Maybe your goal is 4 couples a month, 5 couples a month. Maybe it's 2 when you first start out, but we definitely want you to hit some type of consistency, especially if you really like it. And we really want you to get consistent, because to me, weddings are the most profitable niche in the notary industry. Yeah, that's just how I feel. They just are. Let's see. Thank you, TR, for this. This is something I was looking to add to my notary business instead of just loan signings. Yes, always diversify your stamp. I would say that a million times over. Have more things in your business than just loan signings. I'm not going to say that it's oversaturated, but what I will say is it takes a lot of work, because a lot of people see that as the entry point and kind of like the what do you call that? Like the peak of the notary world, and it's really not. It's just one of the many mountains that you could really set yourself up on, but definitely have more than one. I'm in Florida, so notaries can officiate weddings here. Beautiful. See, I think there's about 6 states that allows a notary, your notary commission to suffice for you being able to officiate weddings. I do get a little concerned with that because I feel like sometimes that will limit your profit in terms of, being able to charge more in the wedding industry because you're kind of restricted with what you can charge as a notary. So I would definitely look into that. That would be a great opportunity to do market research, look at some other officiants who are in your area, again, see how much they're charging, see if they also own a notary business. Maybe they're operating that independently. And so that might be an opportunity for you to bring more revenue into your business if you kind of separate those two, if it's, profitable to separate those two. So I would definitely take that into consideration. But I love that. There's so much you can do in your notary business. You can focus on estate plan signing, so power of attorneys, healthcare directives, trusts, living wills, all of that good stuff. Apostilles, we know that's documents that need to be used outside of this country. So I've done a couple. I ain't super versed in them. They ain't my ministry. That's more, Norman's world. I am a weddings baby, but there's definitely out there. We already know, loan signings. It's a lot of information out there, but you got to deal with signing services. You got to do a lot more, marketing. You have a lot more competition in terms of other officiants that can really, mess with the prices or how much you're getting paid. So that's why I've kind of ventured away from loan signings. When I build those independent relationships, that is pretty much when I like kind of double down in it. But for the most part, I stick to my weddings. But Destiny, by all means, come off of mute.
I'm Destiny. Let me share my camera with you guys. I think I could. I'm Destiny. I just started this Officiant thing, and when I found out Jersey was like 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm a reverend now, and I put it right on my bio the same day I got it. I'm like, I'm about to just start marrying people. I just gotta figure out how to do it, and that's how it happened. I didn't do no weddings yet. I don't know about nothing. I don't even know how to start. That's why I'm here, but I could marry people if somebody asks me. So
I know that's right. Period. First of all, you gotta come out with that confidence off the bat. It's not hard. It's probably that's what I said. It's probably one of the most fun.
And I love me a good wedding, so I just know that I'm gonna love it. I just know I'm gonna like it.
It's perfect. You already got a bubbly personality. You're not afraid to get out there and speak. And really, you're reading your own handwriting. You're reading a script that you created. It's in the language that you understand. Unlike these loan signings, you speaking like a lawyer. You're just like, I don't even know what they saying, but sign here.
Yep, I can't wait. My first wedding, I just know I'm gonna be lit because I love weddings. I love love. So I just know it's gonna work all in one.
Yes, no, that's gonna be amazing. I'm excited for you.
My first few weddings, I didn't write the whole script. Wherever you got ordained at, they have, if it was AMM, they have scripts that you can use. But what I would do is I take a little bit of that one and then a little bit of that one, and I kind of mix them together and then add. If someone was like, "Oh, can you put a Bible verse?" and I'd find a Bible verse.
Okay, put that Bible verse in there. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do everything. Watch. We doing it. Yeah. Tiara, I know that you're in Jersey. Did you have to actually get the certificate?
So I got ordained through American Marriage Ministries. Like you said, that quick 3 minutes, boom, got my little email.
All reverends in here. I know.
Yes. So the two things that I bought from there was I did get their letter of, I don't know if it's a letter of good standing or ordinance of good standing. So I got that just in case, because in New Jersey, we don't have a minister registration, but somewhere like New York, they do. So if a couple wanted to look up to make sure that you are truly licensed minister or whatever, they have an opportunity to do that. In New Jersey, you don't. So I've only had one couple ask me, and I sent them the photo, and they didn't book me. They went with their imam, or iman. I always pronounce it wrong, but no disrespect. But yeah, they went with their iman, and that was it. And then I got the stole. So like just like the little, like the little graduation neckline thing.
Okay.
I got that, and I've only used it in maybe like 2 or 3 weddings. I always bring it with me the day of, so couples know that it's an option for them. But most of them are just like, nah, I want you to look cute. We don't need all that. So,
and so I read that some people like wear like robes and stuff, and it's a wedding. I'm trying to like, you gotta wear a robe too.
So I do ask my couples, like, do you have a preference to what your officiant wears? Some people want you to wear a robe. Some people want you to wear black. Some people don't want you to wear black. Some people want you to wear their wedding colors. Okay. So I like to ask. Couples are always like, oh, I never thought about that. To me, I'm always like, good. Like now I got something else on your mind that you ain't think about. Perfect. Now you see where I'm coming from. Okay. So I would ask. I don't have a robe. If someone was to ask me to wear a robe, I would have to like buy one. Unfortunately,
I looked for someone. It's some on Amazon because I was like, where am I get a robe from? But it is some on Amazon. So
the other day I was at the thrift store and I saw it was like more or less like the choir robe, but they were selling it. It was like $6. I was like, maybe I should buy it. I just don't have time. And went on through. But I'm waiting to do a wedding where someone asked me to be a character. Like I kind of want to focus. I don't know. I want to do something with that, like where people have like a theme and then you get to dress up. I'm ready. Like I hear, people want to do Star Wars. I saw a thing where they were like Harry Potter fans, which I never even saw Harry Potter already. But they, they all dressed up in the theme of Harry Potter, even the officiant. So I just think that would be something cool to add to your bag tricks.
So I literally love that. It's funny because at our last Officiant social, our in-person one, we had Fallon come, and she is, I think, Weddings by Paper Mill, and she was speaking about wanting to get into like fandom ceremonies. So that's what they call them. They call them like fandom ceremonies. That is a super great niche to get into because a lot of officiants are not signing up to do that, i.e. me. I ain't dressing up as nobody but me. But I know
you might like it. You didn't know you were gonna like being an officiant. You might like it.
I don't know. You I ain't gonna say no. I ain't gonna say no because you might be right, but I'm gonna say no right now. I'm gonna definitely say no right now. But I just thought that was like really cool because I never really kind of considered that being a good idea. Especially like I said, to niche down too. But I would absolutely suggest it. That's unique marketing and everything. So yes.
Think about it. I was just thinking, what if someone wanted to get like a big football fans and they wanted to get married like during the halftime? Then you could dress up in their favorite teams, or you know what I mean? You could be the ref, right? And then I don't know, I'm just coming off the top of my head, but whatever their favorite thing is. So it could be fun. I have to do one.
No, I mean, listen, like I said, you are absolutely right. There's like this venue out here. It's called the Art Factory in Patterson. And their biggest thing is like that they do like fandom weddings, or they do like themed weddings. So like Disney princess, like you said, Star Wars. If someone's into, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, like Elvis, like they'll do whatever you want. And I'm like, that's really cute. I'm not doing that. But I think it's really a great idea. And it makes for such a unique like experience for that couple. And again, you could really, once you start to niche out, that's when you really can start having your prices again reflect your value, the value that you wanted to dress up, be like 110 committed, to their theme. Maybe you're pulling out like quotes and stuff like that and integrating it into the ceremony script. Maybe you're talking like the character. Like that takes a lot. That takes a lot of research and stuff. So I would highly suggest, Stephanie, more power to you. Do it, do it, do it.
I did see that there was an officiant, and his thing said if he does any of that, that you, the couple, would have to pay for the costume.
Yes.
So it would be an added expense or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I don't know if I would want to go way out in that realm, but I think some quick dress up or something like that wouldn't be too bad. You know, it probably could be fun.
I think that once you kind of get started, you're gonna fall in love with it. That's what I think.
And there you go. That's your $1,000 thing right there. So.
Listen, okay.
I mean, hey.
That's great. So I'm just gonna take 2 seconds. I gotta just make a plate of food for my daughter real quick so y'all can just chat, and then we'll get started on the presentation.
Yes. Any other questions anybody may have?
Norman, I wanted to ask you about your guys' event that you had. Like, how did that go, or how did you put it together? And because I like to do something like that here.
Which one, the notary or the wedding, or both?
The wedding. The wedding.
Wedding. So we have Wedding Officiant Academy on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much we started it like that, but what we also really did was pretty much reach out to fellow officiants that you follow on social media. Just, plan a location, plan a day. I would say try to plan it. Give people at least 30 days to get it together. You're going to have people that are going to come. You're going to have people that are not going to come. But just open it up and, let them know that, like, we're here. Because one thing that Tiara said earlier, which is true, especially if you start going to expos, is that there's not a big venue or a big space for wedding officiants. Like at expos, you usually see, makeup artists, traveling agents, people for wardrobe, but you don't really see a lot of wedding officiants. So this was the purpose of this, was to get officiants to come together to like learn from each other, network, see how they could be a resource for each other. So like, let's say, for example, you book a wedding and you realize you no longer can do it. Now, like, your local officiant can just do it for you. So it's not like a waste of an appointment. So get the location. I would say navigate, like, if there's going to be, food and refreshments. And if there is, then if it's at a venue, I would say let people know, like, hey, come with your money to pay for whatever you want. Or if you're going to rent it out, like, you could also charge and then say, like, the money that you are paying is going towards your plate.
I was wondering if you charge to get in, or if you told them just you're going to buy food here or whatever.
It depends how you want to do it. So, like, if it's like, let's say, a restaurant and you do want to charge, I would probably get the money, and the money that you get will go towards their bill. So, like, if you say, like, it's $30, then I'm basically holding your $30 so that when it's time to pay the bill, you already are covered. Now, if you spend more than $30, then, you may have to get the difference. But yeah, you could do that if you want. Or you could just have people responsible for their own, whatever they pay, and they pay it there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
What was the presentation going to be on? Because I might have to jump. I have to jump off.
It's going to be, you might, since you're an officiant already, it might not be, you might not need it.
Okay. All right then. Well, then I have to jump off. I'll see you guys on the next thing.
Okay. Have a good one. It was just, how to perform a wedding. So
okay.
I think you're pretty versed in that already.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Okay, y'all. Let's get started. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, can everybody see this full screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Throw a one in the chat. Perfect. So, welcome to the Wedding Officiant Academy. This is our how to perform a wedding crash course. It is definitely going to be a lot of information. That's why we call it a crash course. But if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to ask. The goal is to really leave you feeling empowered, letting you know that this is a great opportunity for you. Excuse me, giving you a little bit of an insight on what are your responsibilities as an officiant, and then also just kind of debunking some of the myths of, what are you supposed to say? What do you do during this time? So if you've never, performed a wedding before, this is going to be a great introduction into what it's like and what is your role as an officiant during this time. So first things first, my name is Tiara Bryan. If you guys, I don't think I even did a real formal introduction when we started, so my bad. But my name is Tiara Bryan. I am the lead officiant at Royal Treatment with Tiara, which is a New Jersey-based wedding officiant business. My niche is really millennials. I love working with millennials. My catchphrase is really, we help you tie the knot with ease and joy. And that is my website if anybody wants to check it out. But that is pretty much me in a nutshell. So we're going to go over 3 reasons to offer officiant services. If you have a notary business already, drop a 2 in the chat. As someone who is a fellow notary, if it wasn't for my notary business, I would have never found officiating or becoming a wedding officiant. At the time, I was looking for ways to what I call diversify your stamp, which is basically adding in other additional services to your notary business and not just leaning on one service like general notary work or loan signings, really just adding more, creating more streams of revenue to come into my business. And I came across officiating. So one of the reasons why I love it, because of the low startup, right? We know to get ordained, in most states, it is free. It is legal to do online. You can go to American Marriage Ministries, which is AMM.org. I threw it in the chat earlier. Let me see if I can throw it in again. So AMM.org. That is where I got my ordination. It's one of the more popular organizations. There's also ULC, which is Universal Life Church. Both is, again, free, legal to do online. It takes about 3 minutes. You put in all of your contact information, click Let's Get Ordained, and boom, you are ordained. So unlike notary, where you have to pay for the notary commission, where you have to buy the paper, where you have to get the scanner, and you have to get the printer, and you have to get, all of these other supplies that go into starting up your notary business, it's not like that with officiating. The next thing that I love is that there's no printing and no scanning, right? I'm not printing out 2 packages of 250 pages. I'm not flipping through all those pages with my little stickies to make sure everybody signed where they're supposed to. And then after everything is all said and done, I don't have to scan this huge packet back, right? So that's another reason why I really got into officiating, is because it eliminated 2 of the biggest tasks that goes with, traditional notary work, estate plan signings, apostilles, all of that good stuff. And then lastly, to me, it is one of the most profitable niches within the notary business, right? You can earn between $250 to $500 per ceremony, and that is just starting out. That's before, you really get all of your reps in. That's before you really understand, again, that unique value proposition that will allow you to communicate your value to be able to get paid more. This is like literally just the beginning, right? To get this in the notary business, you are stretching if you're getting $250 for a loan package signing these days. These signing services is lowballing like crazy. So drop a 3 in the chat if you getting these $55 offers and $50, $60 offers, yes, from the signing services. Ain't nobody got time for that. They want you to print, do the appointment, bring the witness, scan the documents back, Run after the FedEx truck, all for $55 that you'll get in 30 days, right? So none of that here, okay? None of that here. You can opt to do a deposit where you would just essentially be on retainer, or you can be someone like me who chooses to get all the full payment up front in order to confirm your date and time. So the whole waiting, if you choose to wait 30 days, it's absolutely your choice. You can get your money at the beginning, right? So how to get ordained, drop a 4 in the chat if you're already ordained. Like we've been talking about, online ordination is easy, it's free, it's legal. This is literally the process, these 4 steps. Go to theamm.org, apply for online ordination, check your email, and congratulations, you're ordained, right? So what is your next step? Your next step is really getting the training so that you know what your responsibilities are as an officiant, and that you are confident in communicating what you can do for a couple who is looking for you to officiate their wedding, right? You just want to be confident in communicating why someone should be paying you this money. So what are the 3 things that stops people from getting the bridal bag, right? I call it the bridal bag because, honey, weddings are expensive and you are one of those expenses, right? So 1 is pricing services. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but pricing your service has everything to do with market research, right? You want to look at these 3 websites, which is, please stop this. Okay, stop. All right. Google, Thumbtack, and Wedding Wire or The Knot. You want to look up and do some market research from those 3 websites, those 3 directory platforms, right? Because that's going to show you your competition. That's going to show you the other officiants in your area, how much they're charging, what services they're providing, what their reviews look like. You want to look at their reviews and see what exactly did they do, or how did they make that couple feel, because you know, ideally, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to earn that 5-star review, and you need to know how to be able to do it. So when you do that market research, it allows you to make an educated decision on how you want to enter the market in terms of your pricing. You do not want to go too high and you do not want to go too low. So staying within the median is your best bet. And you can only do that by knowing what the median is. So that's the first thing that will get you started, that most people stop at. The second thing is getting clients. Most people are like, okay, I'm ordained now. How am I going to find people that want me to marry them, right? So there's 2 routes you can go. You can go organic, which means free. So that looks like social media. That looks like word of mouth. That looks like Google My Business. That looks like any directory that will allow you to do a free listing, right? That's what we consider organic, something that you do not have to pay for. Now, the second way for you to get clients is through lead generation. So lead generation is essentially you paying a platform to bring the leads to you. You still got to be the one who close out that sale. You still have to get them from a consultation to contract, but at least they're in front of your face, right? So some of those platforms look like Thumbtack. Some of those platforms look like Wedding Wire or The Knot. Some of those platforms look like The Batch or Eventective, or kind of like these other directory platforms that you just have to pay to do like your listing there. So those are 2 different ways that you can find clients. You can either pay to find clients, or you can go the free organic route to find clients. Honestly, it really takes a mixture of both to give you the best success. So you want to find platforms that other people are having success on, and you hear about people using, and you want to do free, basically free methods, so you can just kind of get yourself out there, not spend too much money, and really you're adding to not only the algorithm, but you're adding to your business showing up online, right? So if someone Googles me, they're going to see my Instagram, my Pinterest, my Facebook, in my TikTok, but they'll also see my wedding wire and the knot profile. They may see my previous Thumbtack profile, and they're going to see my Google My Business page, right? So you're basically building up your digital real estate by participating in both organic and lead generating marketing. And then lastly, the one thing that stops people is a fear of messing up. If you're more introverted, this is a great section for you. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into how to really provide as an officiant, how to make sure that you are giving them everything that they are looking for so that they can give you that raving 5-star review so that they can tell their friends and family about you. And so that is really the biggest thing, is what is the foundation of officiating, right? So the first one is knowing your state marriage laws. It is super important. The same thing with your notary business is you need to know your state laws. That is how you make sure that you do your job correctly. That is how you allow to tell other people what you can and cannot do, right? Some people want you to do stuff that is outside of your scope. Oh, skirt, hold on. That's not how we do it. This is how we work it in my business. And so you need to know where your boundaries are, and you learn that by knowing what your state marriage laws are. So things that you want to research for your state. One is, do you have to register your minister license, right? In New Jersey, I do not, but if I wanted to perform weddings in the state of New York, I would have to, right? So just something as simple as knowing that is super important. Another thing you want to be aware of is, does your state require witnesses to sign the marriage license with you? So in New Jersey, we have to have 2 witnesses sign the marriage license alongside the officiant. Some states is only 1. Some states you don't need any witnesses. So you definitely want to know that, because you want to inform your couple, hey, I would love to do this elopement for you. Do you have 2 witnesses, or do you need me to provide 2, right? When you're giving them the option of you providing 2 witnesses, that is an opportunity to upsell your package, right? Because now I have to provide the witnesses. Now each witness is $47. Now your package just went from, maybe $350 to $450, just like that. So it's good to know your state law so you can recognize those kind of opportunities. You also want to know the marriage license process, right? So how do they legally obtain their marriage license? Is there an age requirement? Where do they have to go to apply? How long is the waiting period? So in New Jersey, we have a 72-hour waiting period, meaning if someone was to apply for a marriage license on Monday, they would not be able to physically pick up their marriage license until 3 days later. No ifs, ands, but. I think there's many exclusions, but I think it's either military base or if you're just applying for a remarriage, little stuff like that. But everybody else has to wait those 3 days, right? So that's something that I inform my couples to let them know. Don't wait until the last minute to try to get this marriage license, because you might not get it in time. You got to wait these 3 days. Yada, 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 right? So again, you're positioning yourself as a professional because you know your state marriage law so well. You can give them advice on certain things that they may not have any knowledge of or may be very helpful to them. And then lastly, you need to know the return period. So are you responsible for returning the marriage license back? In New Jersey, we are. A state like California, the couple can return it, right? So that's good information to know. If you are responsible for returning it, and within how many days does it need to be returned? In New Jersey, it's 5 days. So if I have the wedding, I have basically 5 days to return the marriage license to the county clerk, or the marriage license is null and void. Like Stephanie said earlier, she had a situation where she messed up the marriage license and then she would have to pay for them to get a new one. So you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you thought, you had all these days to return it and you actually don't. And now that marriage license is null and void. Now these people not really legally married. Now you have to come out your pocket to replace the marriage license and so on and so forth. So we try to avoid it by knowing our state marriage laws, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and then I will answer them all at the end. I don't want you to, lose out on anything you may be thinking about because I'm just moving through this presentation, but I want to be able to get through to the end, and then we'll have a whole little Q&A session for like 10 minutes. So the next important role as the officiant is you're actually writing the script, right? And I think this is the part that kind of like freaks people out a little bit. Please know that there are so many resources online, a whole bunch of scripts. You can take a sentence out, take a sentence here, take a sentence there, put it together. You're making an original script now, right? There's resource libraries. There's just quick Google searches. You can also work with other officiants, in your area to kind of help you with that. But there are essentially 4 types of scripts that you will have to go through, right? Your first one is a civil ceremony. Those are typically people who are looking for simple, short, sweet scripts. They don't want to be there for 30 minutes. They're not having this huge bridal party. People used to consider them like courthouse weddings. They just want something simple and to the point, right? Your second one is a religious ceremony. So those are typically scripts that will include a prayer or a scripture reading or some type of spiritual or religious aspect. Honestly, as a non-denominational officiant, couples tend to stay away from anything religious. They might ask for like a small mention of God. Some of my couples, they want a prayer. Some, they have a family member come up and read the scripture, things of that nature. But those are just more of your like religious type of ceremony scripts. Then your third one is custom. So that means the couple is looking for you to basically rewrite their love story, right? You're going to have an interview with them or have a questionnaire for them. They're telling you about when they first met, what did they like about each other, what was, how did they get engaged? And they're looking for you to basically concise and retell their story through the ceremony. So those take a lot more time. Those need to be of your at least medium or bigger size packages because, again, you have to work with the couple. You have to basically put their story in like a fun and, engaging type of way. I like to call my stories whimsical. I am a whimsical storyteller. That is one of the ways that I kind of bring out my uniqueness. But my ceremonies, I always stick with kind of fun, lighthearted, romantic. Those are my 3 pillars that I typically go with. And then the last one is the quickest one of all. It is actually no ceremony, and you're just signing the legal paperwork. So out of all of the states, there are 2 things that has to happen for a couple to be legally married. The first one is the declaration of intent, which is essentially a verbal statement that they are consenting to entering this marriage willingly, right? Do you take this person to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold in sickness and health, blah, 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 blah. I do. That's a declaration of intent, right? And then the last one is the pronunciation. Yes, or the pronouncement, the pronouncement. So that is when you, the wedding officiant, is saying, by the power vested in me by the state of New Jersey, I now pronounce you happily married, man and wife, partners for life, whatever language, you choose to use or whatever language is appropriate. But those 2 things are legally need to be said out loud for that couple to get legally married. And then you sign the paperwork and, they're not looking for a ring exchange. They ain't trying to do none of that. They just like sign the paperwork so I can go on and record it with the state and go on about business. And then now the last part is we're going to work through the 10 parts of a ceremony, right? So every ceremony goes through this flow, right? We call it the ceremony flow. It typically goes boop, 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 boop. When we go through the headers and what you actually have to say as the officiant, I think if you've been to a wedding before or a couple, you'll start to see the similarities between all of the weddings that you go through and all of the weddings that you actually officiate. So the first one is the officiant welcome, right? That's when the officiant comes out. Usually guests know that means that the ceremony will be starting soon. And there you're just welcoming the guests, maybe introducing yourself. having a little reminder to let people know to put their phones out on silent, or if the ceremony will be unplugged and there will be a request of no phones used whatsoever. You're just saying those announcements at that time. And then comes the processional and the family blessing. So we're going to cue up the music with the DJ. The music's going to start playing. The groom walks down. The bridal party or the wedding party walks down. And then you get that the music change. And that's when we know we're getting ready for our bride, right? So we're going to ask all of our family, all of our guests, all of our friends to please stand and welcome our beautiful bride. That's when everybody stands up, looks back. The bride has their grand entrance moment. Very beautiful. And they walk down the aisle with their father figure, family member, whoever that's escorting them, and is now blessing the union, right? So there essentially is like, who gives this woman to be married to this man on this day? I do. That's what we call the family blessing. All right. And then you want to remind everybody, all of your guests, to sit down, because they will just keep standing. And the photographer is like, what's happening? So you definitely want to remind your guests to sit down or please be seated. And then we kind of move on into the wedding sermon. So this is when you're talking about the couple, you're showcasing their love story, you're maybe talking about the importance of marriage, you might be sharing a poem or reading a scripture. This is when you work kind of, hand in hand with the couple to figure out what is being said during this time. And then we have our declaration of intent, again, where you're asking that couple, those individuals, do you intend to marry each other? It is a statement of consent and it is required by law, right? Then they're going to exchange their vows. Oh, I love you so much, yada, yada, yada. I always encourage couples to write their own vows. To me, vows are the soul of the ceremony. It is the most important part. It allows your family and friends to kind of see your person the way that you see your person. So I highly encourage that. Even though some couples like, nope, I'd rather you write my vows and I repeat after you. I'm like, all right, girl, I got you. But I always encourage to write your own. So you can have a call and response type where, maybe they write their own vows and you just say it for them and they repeat after you, or maybe you write the vows for them and the same thing happens. Or they'll say it themselves, they'll recite it themselves. So usually one or the other happens. And then we move on to the ring exchange. There, you're really just speaking to rings being a symbol of commitment. You're going to direct the couple to exchange rings on the left finger. You'll be surprised how many people are like, your left or my left? So that's like one of the things that you want to be prepared for, is just to do a little bit of direction at the altar. It's always a very funny moment within the ceremony. And then again, we're rounding out. So it's only 10 parts. It's not that long. You get to the pronouncement. That's when, again, you say the powers vested in me by the state of wherever you are. I now pronounce you lawfully wedded. The couple will exchange their first kiss. Pro tip, you need to move out of the frame for this shot. This is the money shot. This is the day, the moment that everyone is waiting for. The couple, the guests, the photographer, videographer, they want to see that first kiss and they don't want your face in the middle, okay? So you will get the best reviews if you move out the way, trust me. And then the last is the presentation. So you are officially presenting this new married couple to their village of family and friends. You want to allow the couple to prefer their name, choose their preferred name. So maybe it's Mr. and Mrs. Jones, maybe it's Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Jones, maybe it's Mr. and Mrs. Anthony and Tanya Jones, maybe it's Meet the Joneses, maybe it's this, I now present to you the Joneses. So there's a little variety on how their names can be announced. So you want to give them the autonomy of picking what they want their names to sound like for the first time. And then simple, the recessional. Your newlyweds will lead the bridal party, the wedding party, back down the aisle. The music start playing and your job is almost over, right? So the last thing that you want to do before we start getting into the open bar, right? Before anybody gets their first drink, we need to sign the marriage license. That is one of my golden rules, and I say it just like that. Before you hit that open bar, before you get the drinks in, we got to sign the paperwork, period. So you want to sign a marriage license. You want to make sure that it is signed correctly. You want to make sure that there is no mess ups, no write outs, no cross outs. Super important. And you want to make sure that is in the right color ink. So it's typically blue or black, one or the other. And then after, you want to mail it to the county clerk. So in New Jersey, you need to mail it back to the county clerk in the city that they got married in, right? So if they maybe applied for their license in New Brunswick, but they got married in Trenton, it needs to go to Trenton because that's the city that they got married in, right? So that's super important. That's another reason why you need to know your state marriage laws, because you have to know where the marriage license needs to be returned to so that it can properly be recorded with the state. And then lastly, you want to follow up with instructions via email for the couple on how to get their marriage certificate. So there are three things. You have your marriage application, which is where the couple applies with the state to get married. Their marriage license, which is the paperwork that they need to bring to the ceremony to get signed. And then their marriage certificate is their proof that they're legally married, and they can only get that after the marriage license is returned, and that their marriage is recorded with the state, right? So for me, I mail in all of my marriage licenses certified with tracking. So I send them a nice little email with the tracking number. That means get up off my back. I sent it. This is how you can see if it made it. And also, like I said, those instructions on how to pick up your marriage certificate. And then, of course, you always ask for the review. You always ask for the review. And then you want to make asking for the review the easiest way possible. So you want to link wherever website platform you want them to write the review on. If it's Wedding Wire, have it there. If it's Google, have it there. If it's the Knot, have it there. Easily clickable, boom. And for our last little tidbit, we are going to go over 4 tips to help you get rid of the nerves, okay? Don't get me wrong. My first wedding, my first wedding was a home wedding, so I really wasn't that nervous. But when I started to get into bigger weddings with like guests at venues and stuff like that, I was like, okay, we in the big leagues now. Like we actually kind of moving. We ain't in nobody's backyard right now. People pay for this. So 4 things. First, be present, right? Understand where you are. You are at somebody's wedding, right? This is the happiest day of their life, something that they've been looking forward to. All of their friends and family is there. It is really a joyous occasion. So you definitely want to be present in that moment and really just take in all of the good energy and happy vibes and match it, if not exceed it. Pour out your own, right? But absolutely understand where you are. Secondly, take charge. At the end of the day, like I always say, the officiant is the MC of the ceremony. When you walk out, people know that it's getting started. You dominate 90% of the talking space during that time. You give direction to the couple, to the bridal party. They're looking to you as that professional to help guide them through this time. They're emotionally unavailable, honestly. They're so wrapped up in what's actually happening and what their partner is saying that sometimes they lose a little bit of where they are. So they're looking to you for you to take charge in those moments, and you will always come off more professional when you do. Third is take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. This is all supposed to be fun and exciting. My whole thing is about being present and having gratitude. So even in all of my meetings, when we start, we all share something that we're grateful for. I put gratitude and taking a breath and really soaking in the moment into all of my scripts as well. So I'm going to say the same thing for you guys. Before I get started, I always take a couple deep breaths. I always say a prayer. I always practice over my script. I say my couple's names, over and over again, but I really just try to control my breathing and really just remember where I'm at. Like, this is supposed to be fun. Like, it's no reason for me to be nervous right now. We all having a good time, and that kind of helps me. Then a fourth one is to smile often, right? As the officiant, you're in about 80% of their photos when it comes to the ceremony. So you definitely don't want to be mean mugging. You want to always look nice and happy. So smile often. It reminds other people to smile, honestly. And then the bonus tip is always practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. You want to practice your timing. You want to practice spacing. You want to practice taking your breaths. You want to really do your due diligence when you're delivering the script, because essentially, like, that's the big reveal. Like, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for the actual, like, the oration of the ceremony. So you definitely want to practice. Another tip is, if you have a couple with a difficult name, ask them to spell it out phonically for you. Yeah, that's right, phonically. I think that's how you say it. And then also, if you have like an iPhone or something like that, ask them to send you a voice message of them pronouncing the name so that you can practice pronouncing it correctly. Because if you practice pronouncing it wrong, then you're just going to be really good at pronouncing it wrong, right? So we want to make sure that we pronounce it correctly, and that's going to take practice and a little due diligence on your part. So that is pretty much it. I do have this special offer. If you're looking to do any of my digital products, I have a officially ordained e-course that helps you prepare and book your first wedding. I also have an officiant postcard, which most officiants who've ever learned from me, they use this postcard. It just has all of your officiant information in one place. And then also I have a consultation template. So this is the same template that I use for all of my consultations. And I literally copy and paste it in my email and I send it along with the contract. And that is my proposal. So made it super simple and easy. And then of course I offer one-to-one coaching and things of that nature. So we are officially done with the presentation. Is there any questions? I know it was a lot of information, but I'll be happy to answer. Y'all ready to do your first wedding? Like, what's y'all next steps? If you got 3 action steps to get you started, what is the first one of your action steps that you're going to take? I'll give you what I need to work on right now. I need to make sure I know the marriage laws. Yes, make sure you know the marriage laws. That is super important, and it will make you stand out as an officiant. I'm trying to tell you. When someone inquires, they're like, hey, I want to know if you're available for this day and your pricing. I would absolutely love to talk to you. I'm available on your wedding date. But first, do you have any questions on how to obtain your marriage license? That is the first question that I'm asking, because I need you to know that I know this information and I can explain it to you in a way that's easy for you to understand. And most couples are like, oh yeah, I would love, I kind of started doing some research, or I'm a little confused about it, or I have no idea. Can you please go through the process with me? And I get them on the phone. And once they get a little piece of me, we head into that consultation. Once we get in that consultation, you get in this contract and you're paying. So knowing your state marriage laws will put you at an advantage, because a lot of the times, people are not thinking about that. They just think that the couple already knows, and they really don't. And even if they do, it's so much that they have to do in order to, really plan out this wedding the way that they want to, that it'll slip their mind. It will slip their mind completely. So you will do your due diligence in standing apart by knowing your state marriage laws. Or speaking videos. All right, so this is my step one for where I'm at. I need to make a content calendar with more speaking videos. I heard Destiny said I'm comparing prices and getting my packages in order. Yes, that is super important, because while you may feel more than capable of providing the service, if someone was to reach out to you today and ask you how much you charge, because that's of the two things that couples will reach out to you before they barely say hi, honey. Okay, they barely say hi. They want to know, are you available on this date and how much you charge? So having your pricing, having your packages already together is super important. If you go to I'm going to be redoing my website over soon, but hold on. With here. But if you go to my website, I do believe in transparent pricing, meaning I literally have my price sheet on my website and on any like platforms that I market on, so that you can see it, so that you know before you even get into a consultation with me that I am in your price range, that you have a budget that is allocated to me, and that I have a package that, you know, fits what your budget is. So I'm super big on having your pricing and your packaging all the way together. If anyone is interested, like I said, it's 50% off of coaching. You can sign up for a coaching session and we can literally go through and create your price sheet. Norman already knows. He sent me his price sheet and I'm like, this is nice, but let's elevate it here, 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 and here. And he did what he needed to do, and it looks, you know, 10 times better, and better reflects, again, just his value, and it shows in his pricing and the services that he's providing. So it's those kind of little things that you don't really think about, or that can really elevate your price sheet, that I try to, you know, pay more attention to or give advice to. So you can absolutely go and check out mine. My prices currently might not be where you want to start as an intro, but you can see how I broke down my prices, how I show what services are included for each package, the price of the package. And the one thing that I like to do to kind of drive home, again, that communicative value, is put a review at the bottom. They call it like a pull quote, but just taking a piece of a review and putting it at the bottom to basically reinforce, this is what you're paying for. This shows you what it's like to work with me. This shows you how my results make you feel. So this is why I'm absolutely worth X, Y, and Z, right? So that's one thing to do. But more importantly, again, you just want to have something handy so that when they are looking to get those questions answers regarding the price, you can easily give them that information. And then you also want to have whatever the next step is. So if the next step is moving into a consultation call, then your procedure for getting to that consultation call needs to be, you know, coming right after that price sheet, because it's like, now you know the prices, so what's up? You still want to talk? You don't want to talk? Like, what we doing? I'm trying to move to the next step, y'all. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to get to the bag. I'm trying to get to the bridal bag, so we moving right on along here. But I use Calendly. I don't know if anyone else has a scheduling service. I am assuming that you do, because you all have notary businesses, but you definitely want to have some type of scheduling link available, something specific for weddings, so you don't have any type of, you know, notary information within that scheduling link. So if you do use something like Calendly, I have a totally separate Calendly for my wedding officiant business, but excuse me, you can always make that a secret event on your Calendly. And it'll only kind of like, when people go on your Calendly, they won't be able to see it. But if you send them the link, they will still be able to, you know, schedule and like use that quote unquote event. So if you haven't quite separated it yet, that is another way that you can do it. But you definitely want to have your you definitely want to have whatever is your scheduling, whatever scheduling platform already set up. Is there any other questions? Any information that I haven't gone over? Oh, how long can we use the discount for? The discount is definitely for tonight only. So excuse me, by all means, if you see something on there, please jump on it. 50% off is a pretty good discount. It was pretty good. The officiant postcard is $1, so it's 50% off $1. The consultation template is $15. Most people, that's like the biggest seller, as well as the actual e-course. And that is, I believe, 50. So it'll be 50% off of that, so like $25. And then when you get into the coaching call, that has a lot of value because it's literally just me and you, and we going over what you want to do for your state, for your business, what are your goals, and you'll always leave with homework. What are 3 action steps that will kind of get you to where we're talking about today and beyond? So absolutely take advantage of that. It is on our Stand Store website. I also do Clubhouse calls, I want to say twice a month. So we do have a Wedding Officiant Academy. What do you call that? Like clubhouse room? I don't know if it's called like a house. Is it a clubhouse house? But we have a room on Clubhouse where you can join, and anything that we have going on, you can kind of like see it ahead of time. What is the website for the course and the postcard? It is all on the Stand Store. Everything is on that one website. The Clubhouse room is Wedding Officiant Academy, and it will have the same icon that is I think it's right here. Let's go big. It'll have like the same icon. It's like a circle, and it says Wedding Officiant Academy on it. So the Clubhouse rooms is really good. One, those are recorded, so you can go and listen to some of our previous rooms. We have a couple more seasoned officiants in there. So, you know, our first Wednesday is goal setting. So essentially, what do you want to accomplish for this month? What are some goals you have for your officiant business? How can we help you get started on accomplishing those goals? And then the third Wednesday is an action takers check-in. So it's for people who have taken action on what their goals are. We're checking in, we're seeing how you're doing. If you're stuck, what do you need help with? If you need more, you know, marketing ideas and stuff like that, we try to do our best to brainstorm, share ideas, share what we're working on. Like I say all the time, there's no gatekeeping with me. I don't care about none of that type of stuff. There's like 8 billion people in this world. Half of them got to get married, and half of them get married more than once. So it is a lot of work out here. And a lot of times people will have the skills and they'll have the resources, and they will not use it. So a lot of the people that you heard talk tonight have learned from me, and they're actually like using the things that we've, you know, discussed, and they're seeing success in their business. We all have our own limitations, but if we put in the work, we absolutely get the reward. So that's my encouragement for you guys today. If it's something that you want to do, make sure that you go out there and you like actually do it, because it makes a world of a difference. And then the last thing that I was going to show is our actual Stand Store. So this is what the Stand Store looks like. Oh, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let me take this off. Okay. All right. Better. So this is what the actual Stand Store looks like. If you're not ordained, you can get ordained right here. If you are looking for a day of checklist, if you have like a ceremony coming up, or you just want to see what are some tips or things you need to be prepared for the day of, we have our free checklist right here. Any virtual events, all of those Clubhouse events, you can sign up right there. You just took the crash course, so that's what that is. Any of our socials coming up will be right here. And then here goes our officiant postcard, as well as the ceremony template. This is the e-course right here. And then if you're looking to do coaching, that is our coaching right there. So we have a couple of different resources on here. Everything is really geared towards you kind of growing and thriving in your officiant business. And any resources, any classes, any courses, they will all be on that, with that being the goal. So that is pretty much it for me. If you guys don't have any other questions, I will definitely let you go. I want to say thank you guys so much for showing up to our amazing, first virtual social. I'm so happy that some other states was able to join us this time, because having everything just for New Jersey, New York sometimes don't want to travel, PA don't want to travel. So in other states, they can't get here. So we're super excited to be able to provide just like this space. We hope that you enjoyed a lot of this entrepreneurial energy that we are putting out here. I don't know if Norman wanted to add in anything, but Norman basically helps me run the Wedding Officiant Academy. Right now, our membership is not open, but it will start probably in 2024. After I finish out my fellowship, I'll open up membership again. But for right now, it's really just these, opportunities right here to get into the room with us, learn a little bit, as well as all these digital resources that we can provide for you guys as well. Okay.
Thank you all for joining. We appreciate it. We definitely would have more virtual ones before the year's over. So the ones that don't live in New Jersey, don't be worried. We'll have some for you still.
Yeah. Absolutely. So go check out that Sand store. If you see anything that you want, make sure you use that code 50% off. If you want to pay full price, by all means, I will not stop you. Okay. But for the meantime, just for staying and kind of learning with us and stuff like that, we wanted to give you that special offer. And if you need anything, you can always DM me. You can always send me an email. Or sign up for a coaching service, and let's get started. Let's get to this bridal bag. Let's get to this $250 to $500 per ceremony, because you're not making that money with notary. I'm sorry. You can do all the loan signings you want to. Ain't nobody paying you $500 for no loan signing. It's just not gonna happen. All right, y'all. I hope that you have a great rest of your evening. I hope that you learn a lot. I hope that you feel fired up to go out there and marry somebody. And of course, Norman, do you have anything you want to say about your mentorship program?
So for the notaries on here that may need mentorship, I do offer notary mentorship. So please DM me, give me a call, shoot me an email. Oh wait, somebody wants to say something. Oh, okay. So yes, I'm notarized with Norm on Instagram, Facebook. So definitely look out for me. I'm on Google Business page also. So if you need a mentor, whether you're in New Jersey or outside of New Jersey, please feel free to call me. I'll put my telephone number and email in, and we definitely could do a 6-week, 4-week package, or if you need more than that, we can definitely do that as well.
Okay, well, thank you, Norm. Like I said, I hope you guys got a lot of good information. I also run a notary business, but wedding officiating is my primary business. So anything wedding world, they call me the officiant. I call myself the millennial officiant, but I am here to help. And like I said, get you to the bridal bag. All right. Bye, y'all.
Have a good night. Thank you.